Hey, David Sabi here with Kid to Athlete. We're going over pressure, specifically on how to help your kid not buckle or break under it. So why do kids break or buckle under pressure? One of the biggest reasons, I think, from experiences of coaching kids and talking to other coaches, I believe one of the biggest reasons is overwhelm. The kids are becoming overwhelmed when that time really counts, right? And so what you're looking at is they're being overwhelmed. And overwhelm could be basically cut into two categories. They're overwhelmed first by too many thoughts. Some are relevant, some are irrelevant. Those irrelevant thoughts are just distractions. They're distracting them from focusing on what they actually need to be focusing on. And some of those irrelevant thoughts could be, what is the coach thinking? What is the crowd thinking? I didn't wear my lucky socks. And so they are distracted by all these other irrelevant thoughts. The second way that your kid can be overwhelmed when pressure's on is by simply overthinking. And it could be overthinking on little movements, big movements. Let's take a golfer, for example. A golfer is up for a putt. It's the winning putt, right? They make this, they win the tournament. And so when they get up to putt, they're thinking too many things. They're overthinking a movement that they should know how to do. They're thinking of weight distribution, soft bend in the knees. I gotta be at a right angle, rotation, grip the club a certain way. Don't grip it too tight. Breathe with your diaphragm. Inhale and exhale through the nose, shoulder, all these things. They start overthinking and it overwhelms them when they are under pressure. So how can we help prevent or decrease that chance of being overwhelmed? First one, I believe, is visualization. Visualization work, mental work is really what you're working on, is allowing your athlete to focus on and visualize those times under pressure. When you're doing this work, you can imagine being under pressure, imagine the crowd, imagine the coaches screaming, and start to focus in and hone in on what really needs to be focused on. Start to learn to cut off all those distractions and just focus and basically meditate on what you need to really pay attention to. And so visualization work is one of the best things you can do. It also allows your athlete to kind of put themselves in those situations without really being in the situation, so they have a lot of control and it's a little bit more comfortable. The second thing I would recommend is help your kid with their perception. And I first got this from Captain Tom Chaby, who is a former Navy SEAL guy. And he said, if you perceive things as a challenge, you're gonna react differently. If you perceive it as a threat, you're gonna react differently. And when we talk about you're gonna react differently, I'm not just talking about you just think about it differently. Your body actually goes into a whole nother system, right? It starts, the hormones that are pumped out, the endocrine system is functioning differently. The nervous system is functioning differently. And so when you perceive it, and this is just mental again, if you perceive it as a challenge, you're gonna react differently than if you perceive it as a threat. Now, under pressure, when your athlete is looking at something more as a challenge, they're more likely to attack it and they're more likely to kind of focus in on what is needed. If they're perceiving it as a threat, they're gonna be, they're gonna start thinking those irrelevant thoughts, getting overwhelmed by those distractions, and they'll probably start to overthink things. So make sure you can help your kid perceive things as a challenge. And just a side note, I want to go into when you're perceiving things as a challenge versus a threat, emotions are different. A lot of times you hear emotions, it's a sign of weakness, especially in sports. And I just want to say it is not a sign of weakness. Maybe being able to control those emotions is a weakness, but those emotions might just be a symptom of how you're perceiving things. Because think about the emotions that you'll have when you think of it as a challenge versus when you think of it as a threat. So don't attack the emotions. If your athlete is or kid is feeling all these emotions and you're like, hey, that's not the emotions I want, don't look at the emotions, look at how they're perceiving it. Just a side note. Don't think of emotions as a sign of weakness, right? Let's go into perception first. So that's number 2, perceiving things as a challenge. Number 3 would be to provide a safe space. when you provide a safe space for your kid, they understand that they will be okay off the field or out of the pool or off the court or wherever, whatever they're doing, right? And so when they see that, they can be okay, after putting it all on the field, because we always talk about put it all on the field. But if they put it all on the field, is whatever happens there going to continue with them, right? So they're putting it all on the field for a reason. If they make a mistake, they need to know and understand that they're going to be okay off the field. When that happens, guess what? They don't have to think about that, which, going back to Overwhelm, they won't be thinking about that when the time comes to really focus in on, let's say, that shot they got to make to win the game. So make sure that you allow your athlete to understand they have a safe space once they get off the field, that they can put it all on the field and they'll be okay. So my 3 ways of helping your athlete reduce the overwhelm so they don't break or buckle is, first, visualization. Start working with visualization work. I've got a video that kind of goes with that. 2 is making sure they perceive things as a challenge, not a threat. And then the last one is safe space. Provide your athlete with a safe space. Again, I'll have a video for that as well. But when they have all 3 of those and they're working on it, they're more likely to perform and focus on what they need to under pressure. I believe kids can handle a lot of pressure, but what happens is they become overwhelmed, and that's where they break. So I hope this video helps you. Again, check out my other videos. If you're looking for a little bit more on the visualization, the video I have is also just kind of diving into how you can help them start the mental work, but you as a parent can help. And then provide your athlete with a safe space. Telling you, it will help a ton. Thanks for watching. My name is David Sabi, again, here with Kids to Athlete to help you raise happy, healthy, high-performing athletes. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see you on the next one.